For anyone who has lived and grown up on this land, U Minh Thượng is known as a land of human warmth. Here, with its endless melaleuca forests, when the flood season comes and the waters spread white across the fields, countless stories are passed down from one generation to the next. We people of the Mekong Delta love the forest as if it were our own flesh. We treat the sounds of birds, bees, and the splashing of fish as our breath. In this wilderness, Old Man Năm, a seasoned farmer who had lived here all his life, became a silent teacher. He taught the two brothers, Old Man and Old No, lessons of life through every footprint, every wisp of smoke, and every dangling weaverbird's nest swaying in the wind. This story is like the confession of a southerner from the waterways of the Delta, told to remember, to cherish, and to keep alive the identity of our homeland. Sparkles, don't forget to hit like, thumbs up, support and subscribe to Voices of the Mekong. Sparkling heart, speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback means a lot to us. Folded hands, thank you so much for your support. The night before, a drizzle had fallen. This morning the sun emerged. The water surface of the small stream in front of the hamlet was still cool. Old Man Năm held a bamboo pole, guiding the little three-plank boat as it glided gently past blooming hyacinths. Old Man sat at the bow holding a basin. Old No clutched a bamboo basket, eyes scanning everything around. Look carefully, you two, said Old Man Năm, smiling. His silver beard quivered with each stroke of the paddle. Today I'll take you to see another kind of forest. A hanging forest. At the swamp's edge, sedge grass grew nearly to head height. The smell of damp earth mixed with the sharp resin scent of melaleuca. Against the clear sky, one solitary melaleuca tree stood tall like a flagpole in the field. On its high branches, hundreds of straw-brown nests dangled like small baskets, swaying with the breeze. Old No widened his eyes. Uncle Năm, what kind of fruit has a neck and a long tube hanging down like that? Not fruit. Those are weaverbird nests, child. The buyer weaver, the buffalo weaver, all kinds. That's the hanging forest. Old Man Năm guided the boat closer to the bank, pressing the pole to keep it steady. Come closer and see, but don't make noise. The iron bees guard around here. Wind from the swamp blew past, making dew sparkle on the nests. Looking closely, each one resembled a gourd, with its bottom narrowing into a curved neck, and the entrance tilted downward. Some nests were round and smooth as though woven from silk, others were large, rough, sticking out with little twigs like a beginner's basket. Up above, the male birds in bright yellow plumage tinged with black, like wearing ceremonial coats, hopped from branch to branch, chirping while carrying strands of grass like thin fishing lines. Old Man laughed. How can they do that, uncle? Weaving by hand? Oh, I mean by beak. Yes, by beak and by foot. Old Man Năm explained softly, as though afraid the wind would carry his voice away. They pull fibers from sedge leaves, melaleuca leaves, sometimes even tender ferns. Their beaks hook, their feet grip. Each time they pull a strand, they weave it in tightly. Even if rain splashes, it can't get inside because the entrance faces down. The male bird weaves so skillfully, just to show off, to court the female. Old No sighed in awe. Like when we build a wooden house, make a porch, make a door, except they don't have rulers or nails. That's right, wisdom doesn't belong only to humans. A nest is also a home, a place for love, whether rich or poor. No one wants their house destroyed. Birds are the same. A male bird suddenly darted out, carrying a long blade of grass. It landed at an unfinished nest, clamped the fiber in its beak, jerking its head while clinging with its feet, body hanging upside down like a craftsman weaving a hammock. In moments, a new loop appeared, fitting seamlessly into the nest's body like stitching with an invisible needle. Old Man tiptoed. Why are there two nests so close together, like twins, uncle? Because each male builds two, explained Old Man Năm, smiling as he glanced at the pairs of swaying nests. One is a show nest, to display skill and lure a mate. The other is the breeding nest, tighter, stronger, for raising the young, just like young men hang beads or flower pots at their doors to look nice. The buzzing of bees resounded. In the shade of branches above, glossy brown iron bee hives clung thickly like slabs of coconut husk. The bees moved diligently, circling like guards. Why do birds choose to build nests near bees? Old No frowned. These birds are clever, like humans. Old Man Nam replied. They rely on the bees for protection. In this dense swamp, it's hard for people to come, and even lizards or snakes are wary. Bees hate strange smells. If anyone climbs, they will attack fiercely, so the birds settle near them for safety. He pointed at dark marks on the melaleuca bark. Once, a boy from the upper hamlet loved the look of weaverbird nests, so he climbed to take one home to hang from his porch. The bees attacked him until he burned with fever. From that day, the whole hamlet warned the children, don't break, don't climb, it's dangerous, and it's a sin against the forest. Utlon looked around the meadow, as if realizing something. So the birds choose trees in the middle of the field for safety. Right, yes, you could call it strategy, Old Man Nam said, patting his head. Snakes, lizards, weasels rarely make it across tall sedge grass. The entrance facing down keeps rain out, and the chicks are safer inside. Living in the forest, everyone must learn, the forest feeds us, so we must protect it. Old Man Nam pulled the boat under the shade of the melaleuca, took out a small knife, peeled a fruit, then said to the two boys, write this in your notebook. Weaverbird, fibers from leaves, nests with long necks, two side by side, narrow entrance facing down, hanging to avoid rain, built near iron beehives for protection. He pronounced each word clearly, as if hammering them into their memory. Suddenly, there came a tearing sound, like fabric being ripped. A large nest dropped heavily into the grass, rolled once, and lay still. The entire flock of birds scattered in panic. Startled, Utno exclaimed, who broke it? The wind isn't that strong. Old Man Nam raised his hand to stop them, eyes glancing quickly. At the base of the melaleuca, a deep footprint pressed into the soil. A patch of grass was bent flat. On a root, a fresh scrape peeled away the bark. Across the water's surface, a faint film of oily yellow drifted. He inhaled deeply. The smell of rolling tobacco lingered. Someone entered the forest early and broke it. He said quietly, but today we won't chase them. We'll wait, see if they come back, then decide. Utlon pointed toward the direction of the old canal bank. The swirling water trails head toward Vam Ray Canal. He remembered those times following his father hauling rice. That water often smelled of engine oil from the 3 board boats. Good, you've learned how to read the water. Old Man Nam smiled gently. But first, today we keep silent, so the birds can settle down again. If frightened, they'll abandon the whole colony of nests. The 3 of them sat in silence. Above, a male bird with dark golden feathers approached the fallen nest. It pecked repeatedly at its wall, as if counting each strand, a habit of checking and repairing. A moment later, it carried another blade of grass, weaving it into the nest beside. Utno whispered, like patching a shirt when it tears. You mend it, you don't throw the whole shirt away. Indeed, clever creatures. Old Man Nam nodded. The male doesn't stop weaving. It even hops to the other nest, showing the female how hard-working it is. Old Man Nam pointed toward the messy cluster of nests on the far side. Look there, those are buffalo weavers. They're called buffalo, not because they're big, but because they're clumsy. They grab twigs and weave loosely, looking rougher than the ones that weave fine silk-like fibers. But their nests are strong, able to withstand fierce winds. Each species has its own style. As long as they live peacefully in the forest, it is precious. The sun rose higher, and the iron bees flew in greater numbers. Their flight paths as busy as a village road on market day. Old Man Nam pulled from his basket a checkered scarf, dipped it in water, wrung it dry, and told the boys, wrap this around you. The strong smell of sweat irritates the bees. Going into the forest, you must act as if visiting someone's home. Be gentle. He spoke slowly. In the old days, your grandfather also loved taking pretty nests home to hang. But your grandmother stopped him. That's their house. Don't destroy it. He listened, gave up the habit, and later taught me. I now teach you, so that you can teach your children one day. The forest protects us, so we must protect the forest. A light monsoon breeze carried the faint fragrance of melaleuca blossoms. The flock of weaverbirds flapped their wings all at once, leaves clattering together like a rustic string instrument. From afar drifted the sound of Don Ca Taitu southern folk music, from a funeral feast across the canal, blending with the soft chugging of a boat engine. The 3 of them sat quietly, listening to the forest breathe. Utlon tilted his head, Uncle Nam, may I ask something? Why do the nest entrances always face downward instead of straight out? Which would be easier for going in and out? Old Man Nam raised his finger, sketching the curve in the air. Downward keeps the rain out. During rainy season, water falls from above. If the entrance faces up, it fills the nest, soaking the chicks, making them sick, and the narrow entrance keeps snakes and lizards out. Inside, there's even a partition, a resting chamber before the egg chamber. See, they plan it all. Utnyo's eyes followed a bird slipping down into the nest tube like a falling leaf in reverse. Then, what can people learn from them? Learn patience, learn skill, learn how to choose a safe place. Old Man Nam said, his voice lowering, whatever you do, think about the way in and out. Think about storms and rains. Above all, learn to love your home. This land has burned many times. Once, people set fire to chase honey from the bees, and the flames spread across the swamp. If we don't protect it, one day it will exist only in memory. Suddenly, from the swamp's edge came the sound of splashing. A strange three-board boat, painted in unfamiliar colors, slid out, its engine coughing loudly. Two men wore soldier-style pith helmets, one carrying a large cloth bag. The boat passed swiftly, then turned into a narrow creek toward Gyeong Marine. Old Man Nam said nothing, only motioned for the two boys to watch the greasy oil trail behind. Remember this, he whispered, we saw the same traces a few days ago. Those who truly know the forest don't leave oil floating like that. Utlon swallowed hard. In his mind, fragments fit together, the fallen nest, the footprints, the scraped root, the tobacco smoke, the strange boat. He looked at the circling iron bees and thought of the narrow entrance of the bird's nest, of the warm chamber inside, where chicks would hatch when the rains arrived. Uncle Nam, Utno said timidly, maybe we should go home now. Yes, Old Man Nam agreed. At noon, the bees grow irritable. Don't linger, I'll come back later this afternoon. But remember this, when you see beauty, don't pluck it. When you see a house, don't destroy it. When you see a forest, you must love it. The boat slipped past the sedge bank, ripples chasing behind. Above, the weaverbirds kept weaving, the rustle of leaf fibers sounding like needles stitching across the sky's fabric. That noon, under the shade of the coconut trees in the yard, Utlon and Utno opened their notebooks and carefully copied, exactly as Old Man Nam had told them. Each simple yet sturdy line was like the fibers of a leaf vein. Weaverbird, woven by beak, nests with long necks, two nests side by side, narrow entrance facing downward, choose trees in the middle of the grassland, near iron beehives. Inside has a resting chamber before the egg chamber. Do not break. Utno flipped to the next page, sketching a crooked nest with its curved neck, adding a yellow bird perched on the side. Secretly, he scribbled another line, the little one's home. Then, smiling, he tucked into the notebook a dry almond leaf that Old Man Nam had given him that morning. Outside the gate, the sound of an ox cart carrying straw clattered past. Farther away, the hum of someone's boat engine echoed briefly, then went silent, leaving behind a greasy rainbow patch floating on the canal. Overhead, thin clouds drifted by, softening the harsh sun. The breeze slipped through the hibiscus hedge, brushing gently like a hand stroking hair. In the quiet noon, the two brothers guessed playfully, this afternoon, will Uncle Nam teach us how to read ash? Or how to read the wind? They didn't know, they only knew that on their very first day in the forest, they had learned the most important lesson, to love the little houses swaying on the melaleuca branches. And to love the forest that had nurtured the hamlet, from the cricket's song the night before to the scent of melaleuca that morning. Somewhere among the leaves, a male bird was hooking in another new loop of fiber. Each stitch fit tightly, like Old Man Nam's words tightening into the memory of the two children, so that one day, when the monsoon winds changed direction, they would know to tilt the entrance of their own lives downward, to keep out the storm, and protect what was dearest. The sun stood high, the end of dry season heat poured down on the swamp like fire. The sedge grass turned yellow, their brittle tops crackling in the wind. In the distance, a thin plume of smoke rose straight up like a needle piercing the sky. Old Man Nam smacked his lips. Someone is burning bees again. In this season, one spark can burn the whole forest. Utlon frowned angrily. Why are people so greedy for honey and so careless? Uncle, because of the belly's craving for quick profit. They burn smoke to drive bees away. but don't know how to watch the wind or the grass. So the fire spreads, Old Man Nam said grimly, pushing the pole to bring the boat ashore. Get down, both of you. Today you'll learn how to read the wind. From the top of a high mound, Old Man Nam pointed. The leaves of sedge and melaleuca all bent in one direction. The plume of smoke also drifted that way. See, the monsoon wind drives the smoke toward Gyeong Reen. If the fire grows strong, it will spread across the swamp, reaching the weaverbird colony we saw the other day. Ut No swallowed hard, picturing the flames licking through the dangling nests. Shaking, he whispered, "Then, how do we save them? Save them with our own hands." But with planning, Old Man Nam urged, "Let's call the whole hamlet. Dig fire breaks. Stop the flames." The entire hamlet stirred. Everyone had a task, some with hose, some with shovels, some carrying water. Old Man Nam directed them, dig a trench across the swamp. Pile the soil into a barrier, gather dry grass and burn it against the wind, creating a patch of pre-burned ground so the flames could not cross. Sweat streamed down Ut Lon's back, soaking his shirt. He shoveled furiously, listening to Old Man Nam explain. "Look at the ash on this melaleuca bark. Thin ash, still grey, that means the fire just burned out. If the ash is thick and glossy black, the fire is old." Reading ash tells you how the forest has lived. Ut No was assigned to carry water and pour it around the trees bearing nests. He watched the dangling nests shake in the smoky wind. The birds shrieked, flying circles as if urging him on. He prayed silently, "Please endure. Please hold on. Don't leave this place." Flames roared. White smoke coiled upward, but thanks to the fire break, the blaze was stopped. The entire colony of nests remained intact. Old Man Nam exhaled heavily, sitting down on the earthen ridge, his silver beard wet with sweat. "That's how it is, children. The forest survives only because of our hands. Don't wait for others to save it. If the forest burns, the birds flee, the fish die, the bees abandon. What will remain for the next generation?" Ut Lon and Ut No looked at each other, eyes red, through the sting of smoke. They saw clearly one truth. Learning the forest was not just knowing trees and leaves, but knowing how to protect life for the whole hamlet, for the whole future. That evening, as the smoke faded, twilight spread purple across the swamp. The melaleuca tree, with its hundreds of weaverbird nests, glittered again in the slanting light. The birds chirped joyfully, as if in gratitude. Old Man Nam stroked their heads. "Tomorrow, when you see ash still clinging to the melaleuca bark, remember this day. If you can read ash and read wind, you can protect the forest. And protecting the forest means protecting your own home." A few days later, when dew still lingered on the grass, Old Man Nam once again poled the boat, bringing the two brothers back to the bird colony. As soon as they arrived, Ut No cried out, "Uncle Nam, several nests have fallen to the ground." Indeed, beneath the melaleuca, a few crooked nests lay scattered among the dry grass. The fibers were still fresh, not yet withered, proof they had fallen just the day before. Above, the flock of birds flew chaotically, their cries filled with alarm. Old Man Nam frowned, slowly circling the tree trunk. He pointed down to a deep imprint in the damp soil. "See this? A human footprint. The mud is still wet. This was yesterday. Look closely, you can even see the sole pattern, likely from canvas shoes." Ut Lon bent down, touching the marks. "Yes, there are scratches on the roots too, as if a boat scraped against them." Old Man Nam nodded. "Someone came to steal nests. Smell that? The faint reek of hand-rolled tobacco. They smoked while waiting for the bees to scatter." The wind stirred. The iron bees buzzed angrily around their hives, circling as though still remembering the intruders. Old Man Nam warned softly, "Bees remember smells well. Whoever disturbs them, they'll recognize again next time. So be careful, don't let them mistake us." He pointed toward the swamp. "Look there, oil slicks floating on the water. That's from a boat engine. Real forest folk travel quietly. They don't let oil trail behind." Ut No trembled. "Then, will we catch them?" "Uncle, not yet. First, we must learn to read signs, to know directions," Old Man Nam said, pointing his pole toward a narrow creek. "See, the oil trail drifts with the current that way. That's where they went." The three followed silently in their boat, like trackers on a hunt. Ut Lon sniffed the water, a sharp, chemical scent. He recognized it instantly. gasoline-mixed engine oil, unlike the kerosene smell of the village's old boats. He whispered, "They're not from our hamlet, Uncle. Our folks all use old engines. Not this strong-smelling kind." Old Man Nam nodded, eyes fixed on the fading streaks on the waves. "Yes, outsiders came here to steal nests." The boat drifted past a shallow lotus marsh, its yellowed leaves drooping, birds thinning out. Behind them, the weaverbirds still chatted wildly, as if urging the three to preserve some peace. Old Man Nam spoke slowly. "Remember this, children, reading signs is like reading words. Every footprint, every boat mark, the smell of smoke, the trail of oil, they are the forest's writing. Only those who can read them know who loves the forest, and who harms it." Utlon gripped his paddle tighter, feeling a vow rise within him. Utno clutched the bamboo basket, staring hard at the oily water trail, as if to carve it into memory. The melaleuca forest stood silent yet tense, as though holding a secret for those who knew how to read it. On their way back, the boat passed a small creek. Old Man Nam suddenly stopped. On the bank was the trace of a cooking fire, ashes still warm, black and fresh. He muttered, "They stopped here, many footprints, looks like 2 or 3 men." Utlon asked, "So what do we do, Uncle?" "This must be reported to the hamlet. But remember, don't confront recklessly. This forest has many dangers, bees, snakes, even men. The most important thing is to learn to recognize. When the time comes, we'll tell everyone to guard together. If they came just for honey, then fine, but if they harm the forest for small profit, then it must not be allowed." And so, the three quietly turned the boat back. The afternoon sun glittered across the water. Above, the birds still chirped in the melaleuca branches, as if reminding him, the forest is whispering its secrets to those who know how to listen and how to protect. The next morning, Old Man Nam led the 2 brothers deeper into the melaleuca grove. The sun had just risen, dew still clinging to the grass tips. The weaverbirds chatted noisily around their fresh nests, while the iron bees hovered lazily nearby. Curious, Utno mischievously parted some sedge to peek closer at a beehive hanging right beside a cluster of bird nests. He didn't expect that just one careless touch would set the entire swarm off. They burst out like smoke exploding. Utno screamed, waving his arms as he ran. Several bees followed, stinging sharply. Lie down, Old Man Nam shouted. He grabbed his checkered scarf, threw it over the boy's head, and pulled him down into the swamp's edge. Quickly, he plucked out each stinger carefully at an angle, never snapping them off. Then he scooped soft mud and applied it to the swollen welts. Tears welled in Utno's eyes as he sobbed. "It hurts so much, Uncle." Old Man Nam soothed him. "Bear with it, child. The bees sting only to protect their home. You disturb them by accident. They don't hate you. They're fierce only because they're used to guarding the birds." Utlon sat trembling beside him. "How did they know we were here and fly at us so fast?" "Uncle, the iron bees can smell human sweat and breath," Old Man Nam explained calmly. "In the hot season, strong odors give us away immediately, and when branches shake too hard, they think the hive is under attack, so the whole swarm rushes out." He continued teaching, "When you enter the forest, remember humility, never be reckless, walk softly, speak gently, don't tease or destroy. The bees are like soldiers, keeping peace for the birds. If we understand that, we'll avoid conflict." After a while, Utno calmed down. The swelling was still red but less painful thanks to the cool mud. He whispered, "I'll remember, Uncle. Next time I won't go near the hives again." Old Man Nam smiled kindly. "Good, the forest teaches through wounds. But those wounds give lasting lessons. Walking in the forest isn't just about seeing trees and leaves, it's learning respect for every living being. Don't break nests or harm birds, for they too are creatures that know joy, sorrow, and the cycle of life." The bees, after their furious burst, returned to their steady patrol around the hive. The weaverbirds gradually settled as well, their chirping resuming in cheerful bursts. Under the blue sky, the melaleuca grove seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Old Man Nam looked at the 2 children, knowing a great lesson had just been carved into their young hearts. The rainy season poured down. The swamp of U Minh Thượng turned into a vast ocean of water. Melaleuca blossoms mirrored themselves on the glittering surface, while lotus and water lilies rose to crowd together. Snakehead fish and climbing perch surged into the fields with the flood. Following the red silted water, the whole hamlet entered the fishing season, building temporary huts on the swamp. Old Man Năm took Ut Lon and Ut No to observe the colony again. To their surprise, the nests now hung much higher, out of reach of human hands. When the flood rises, Old Man Năm explained, the birds raise their nests higher too, to avoid the water and keep safe from water snakes climbing up. Ut Lon looked up, seeing clusters of nests swaying at the extended tips of branches. Ut No asked, Uncle, why do I see some birds build 2 nests at once? Old Man Năm chuckled, that's the weaver's habit. Each male builds 2 nests side by side, one show nest, to display his skill and court the females, the other is stronger. Sealed, for laying eggs and raising the young. Only then will the female choose her mate. The 2 children sat on the boat, carefully noting everything in their forest learning notebook. Old Man Năm added, look at the narrow entrance facing down. Even in rain, water hardly enters. Inside, there's a resting chamber first, then the egg chamber, cleverly planned. That afternoon, Old Man Năm and the 2 boys built a small wooden plank bridge across the swamp, so they could observe the birds without disturbing the grass. Ut No excitedly counted the weaving loops, noticing that new nests were tighter than old ones. Ut Lon observed how the males hopped back and forth between nests like craftsmen working and performing at the same time. Rain pattered gently on the thatched roofs, each drop sparkling on the birds' wings. The melaleuca grove became a grand symphony, the sound of rain, of bees, of birds, of water trickling beneath the boat. Old Man Năm watched silently, eyes brimming with joy. The 2 children had learned to love the forest from the smallest details. Like a single woven loop on a bird's nest. One hot noon, a rumor spread through the hamlet, outsiders had brought nets into the swamp, stretching them over the colony to capture baby birds for sale. Upon hearing this, Old Man Năm immediately took Ut Lon and Ut No to verify. The boat slipped through a narrow creek, melaleuca leaves shading the sunlight. When they reached the colony, Old Man Năm raised his hand, signaling silence. On a branch, a net camouflaged with dry leaves was tied hastily, stretched like a curtain. Old Man Năm scowled. See that? A net trap. They wait until the females fly out to feed, and the chicks cry, then the whole flock is caught. Ut Lon clenched his teeth. They're cruel, uncle, but Old Man Năm remained calm. Anger is natural, but we must understand their tricks. Male birds constantly check their nests. If they tug a strand and feel it snagged, they grow suspicious. We'll use that very instinct to free them. He carefully loosened a few strands of the camouflaging leaves, and the net fell apart. As expected, a male bird flew in, pecked repeatedly at the snag, then abandoned it. Old Man Năm nodded. It knows its nest was tampered with. It'll be cautious now. That means today, we've saved the whole colony. That evening, the villagers gathered at the communal house. Old Man Năm showed him the confiscated net and recounted the story. He spoke clearly. From now on, if anyone sees nets or bait, report immediately. This forest belongs to us all. We must not let bad people exploit it. Whoever breaks nests or snaps branches will be fined before the hamlet. Standing behind, Ut No listened, his chest swelling with pride. He thought to himself, the forest isn't just trees and birds, but also rules and people to guard them. One day, this responsibility will pass to me too. Outside, frogs croaked after the rain, and a thin crescent moon shone on the thatched roofs. The hamlet seemed more united than ever, determined to keep the cheerful chatter of the weaverbirds alive for seasons to come. The breeding season arrived. The melaleuca grove became as lively as a bustling sky market. Male birds chatted endlessly, flaunting their golden beaks and black tails, hopping from branch to branch. Females circled around, testing the strength of each nest. Up above, hundreds of nests swayed, sunlight piercing through the leaves and shimmering like clusters of hanging lanterns. In the distance, flocks of storks soared, creating a breathtaking scene. By now, Ut Lon and Ut No were no longer just wide-eyed with wonder, they had begun to reflect. Watching the males patiently weave strand after strand, they whispered to each other, humans are the same, aren't they? To build a home, to build a life, you need hard work and perseverance. Old Man Năm sat beside them, nodding. Yes, the forest teaches us through images. Birds weaving nests, bees standing guard, fish following the seasons. Each species has its role. each connected to the other. If people understand this, they too can live in peace. One afternoon, Old Man Năm led the boys to the great melaleuca tree, the one with hundreds of nests hanging. He stood silently for a long time, then spoke as if entrusting something precious. One day, I won't be here to guard this forest. Remember, this nesting tree is memory. It is a lesson. Protect it as you would your own home. Together, the three erected a small wooden sign, carved with rough letters. When the villagers heard, they brought their children to see. The elders repeated the old saying, "A nest is also a home. Don't break it." The children stared eagerly upward, watching the swaying nests like hammocks carrying countless stories. That night, the forest spoke, not in noise, but in harmony, the rustling of melaleuca leaves in the wind, the chatter of weaverbirds, the buzzing of bees like a steady drumbeat, and the gentle lapping of water against the boat. The three sat listening, hearts swelling with love for the land. Old Man whispered, "Uncle, we promise we'll protect it." Old Man added, "We'll tell our children and grandchildren, so this forest will always have the sounds of birds and bees." Old Man Năm smiled, his silver beard trembling under the crescent moon. In his eyes, the children had truly grown. In the melaleuca forests of U Minh Thượng, the songs of the weaverbirds echoed through the wind like greetings, promises, and vows of a land forever bound to those who guard it. The melaleuca forest was not only trees, water, fish, and birds. It also held memory, humanity, and soul. Old Man Năm, with his silver beard and deep love for the forest, had planted in the two children the seeds of preservation. Old Man and Old Man grew up with the bird's chatter and his enduring words. A nest is also a home. Do not break it. Protect the forest, and you protect yourself. And so, when travelers far away heard the wind through the melaleuca groves, their hearts warmed with memory. For those who stayed, every glance at the dangling nests was like hearing the voices of parents and grandparents reminding them still. The story ends, yet its echo lingers, the love of homeland, the love of forest, the love of people, deep and lasting, like the eternal song of U Minh Thượng rising in the southern. Sparkles, don't forget to hit like, thumbs up, support and subscribe to Voices of the Mekong. Sparkling heart, speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback means a lot to us. Folded hands, thank you so much for your support.